The Singapore Street Directory, which belonged to my father, it was given to him by his cousin when he first came to Singapore from Penang to find a job here.
I have a few job interviews. At that time, I was staying with my cousin in Sembawang area, and to get around to Santon Way, my cousin had passed me this street directory for me to get around. So I still remember I went to Clifford Center and OCBC Center.
When I look at this directory myself, I found out when I looked at this Pasir Ris map, I found out that this school was not around and it was only until Pasir Ris Street.
Around this area, the Elias Park School is still not there. Since then, there's a lot of development in this area. And I want to show them that things are changing very rapidly, and we have to appreciate what we have now.
Street directories are a wonderful piece of reference. It tells you a lot about what that place was at that point in time. It's published year after year. So it's very good if you take a few years and put them together. And if you can, maybe at least a decade. And maybe in other countries, you will not see much of a movement. But in Singapore, because we are developing at breakneck speed, in about 10 years, you can see the whole plot of land change.
My grandmother used to live near Singapore River in one of the shophouses. She had a lot of siblings and she lived with her parents.
我小时候是住在新加坡河附近，潮州话叫十八区间。那个年代的河流是很肮脏的，什么东西垃圾都丢到河里面，然后政府要清理河道，我哥哥就把这些照片拍下来做纪念。这些在山下画的那些波船在山下画的情形。我今年已经64岁了。我这些照片应该有50年的历史。这个旧照片很有回忆，这个是我小时候帮我妈妈洗衣服的，因为那个年代是没有洗衣机的，我们是用手洗的。
I feel that the coolest thing is that my grandmother used to live in a shop house, but now it is become a restaurant. And since it is very old and has a lot of history in it.
A lot of photographs have been taken of the Singapore River, especially when it was announced that it was to be cleaned up. Now, but those photos were taken by photographers, local photographers from overseas, and you have also maybe some government documentation team going around. Now, these photographs were taken by a family living along the river. We don't usually get them documenting their own activities or their own lifestyle. So I would say that it will provide an unusual perspective of what they think they want to remember of the river.
This face powder, it belongs to my great-grandmother. She's 86 years old this year and she still uses it. It was first given to her by her mother about 70 years ago. At that time, this was branded and this is called the San Feng Fen.
看我老母抹了，抹我就抹了，13、14歲就抹了，抹這種了。
My great-grandmother has been using this powder for a very long time and she only uses this one product. My mother uses the powder. They are available now and she changes one every few months. And besides that, she also put eyeshadow, while my great-grandmother only uses this only face powder and yet she still looks as beautiful.
As you can see from the image on the cover, it reflected the time where it was launched, the product was launched. It looks like what, 1930s or 1940s. And then almost all the women would use something like that if they were to be using any form of cosmetic or skincare at all. The fact that it's a white powder tells you a little bit about the value that society puts on a fairer complexion.
This is a handicraft made by my grand-aunt, who is 82 now, and she made it when she was in her 30s, so this is about roughly 50 years old. She made it She learned how to make it as her friends taught her, and they would get together and make it together. She also taught to many other people on how to make it, and these people are all Sri Lankan women who came with her from Sri Lanka.
கூட்டாளியெல்லாம் சேர்ந்து இதை செய்தது ட்ரே மத்தியானத்தில் செய்தது பாவிக்கிறதுக்காக எல்லா ஃப்ரெண்டும் ஜாயின் பண்ணி செய்தது சேர்ந்து செய்தது இந்த ஃப்ரெண்ட்லாம் திஸ் ஹோல் ஃப்ரெண்ட்லாம் எல்லாம் ஜாயின் மேக் ஒன்று செய்கிறதுக்கே ஒரு 2-3 மாதம் செஞ்சிச்சு அப்போ 3 ட்ரே செய்ய எத்தனையோ மாதம் சொல்ல முடியாது கூட்டாளி எல்லாரையும் நினைச்சிட்டு இருக்கிறது தான் எனக்கு போதும் அந்த ஆக்கள் எல்லாம் இருந்து இப்படி செய்தமே இப்போ உண்டு மில்லியன்ட்
My grand aunt really treasures this object because she made it with her friends quite some time back, about 50 years back. It reminds her of many memories when she was young.
Now, the tray that is made of this hand-stitched item reflects the communal activity that a new immigrant group was pursuing at that point in time. So it says a lot about that feeling they get when they get together, they stick together. So it tells something about the cohesion of a new community in Singapore and what these people did to make each other feel more at home.
This is a gramophone record. It is used to store music and must be played on a turntable. Nowadays, it is very rare as everybody uses iPods or CDs to listen to music.
I have a few of my mother's favorite records and her favorite singers. One is Connie Francis, Elvis, and Doris Day. She brought these records all the way from her hometown, Penang. Since coming to Singapore, we have moved 4 times. And to think that her precious stuff is all these records. Every time we move, I will see the records move.
My mother said that she likes music and dancing. And I also heard that when she is stressed, she usually plays the records to cool herself down.
My mom has already passed away, so there's nothing I can share with her about my mom, except through old pictures and through music. But I mean, the music are all in vinyl records. To share with her, she has to listen to all this. Then she will know what kind of songs my mom listens to and how meaningful those songs were.
The vinyl records will tell you the kind of music that the particular person is listening to. So if you look at the collection and it's all classical music, for example, or it's all pop music, and then it tells you about the music of that time.
I find it very cool and awesome as this piece of big, hard plastic can make music.
The other thing that you can learn from vinyl records is the technology, especially so in the present day where everything is digital. And going back to the days of analog technology, there's no digital technology at all. And you notice the emphasis on the singing capabilities or even the music making capabilities. Whereas presently digital technology has made it possible for them to do a lot of other kinds of packaging.